Brittain, a Red Cross volunteer, a professionally trained EMT, and a disaster action team captain. He responded to a home fire to give Red Cross assistance, and he was speaking with the family, and Matthew noticed that the father was having difficulty breathing. He also noticed that the 2-year-old daughter was struggling. Matthew called for paramedics, and the family was quickly taken by ambulance to the hospital for treatment for smoke inhalation. According to the doctors, had the condition gone unnoticed for even 2 more minutes, the young girl may have lost her life. This is the story of Matthew Brittain.
I was present. It was February 13th. Got a call 2 o'clock in the morning, probably about 1:30 in the morning, and Matthew was the lead on call, filling in for our team. And by the time I arrived on scene, he was already inside the neighbor's home. So, and it was a series of miracles that night. It really was. I just remember arriving there. It was a townhouse fire, and there was units on either side, and the home that burned was completely gone, destroyed. But either side, they remained. First miracle. And then you go in and you hear the story of the father. The mom's at work. He has 4 kids under the age of 4, 20 months old, a 2-year-old little girl, and a 4-year-old little boy. And he managed to get all 4 of them out safely. I mean, that was a miracle. And then I go in and I see Matthew. The family was able to go into the neighbor's home while the fire, because it was still very active. The fire department was still there. The news crews were there. It was very busy. And I just remember walking in, and Matthew was just in the middle of it all. And the father, the daughter, the little 2-year-old girl was sleeping on the sofa. The little 4-year-old was sitting next to Dad. And it was just kind of chaos, and people were coming in and out. But he was just really calm, and he looked at me, and he pulled me to the side and goes, "Dad's not doing well. He's really having a hard time holding it together." He goes, "I think you need to call DMH. So call Vic Bigland, get him on the scene." So I did. I went out and did that. And in the meantime, he's still in there just observing. And usually we get on call and we start questioning and interviewing and finding out. And he didn't do any of that. He was just observing. And I came back to let him know Vic was coming on scene. And next thing you know, he's like, he goes, "I'm really concerned." He goes, "The father," he goes, he's not sounding good. And the little girl, I know it's like almost 3 in the morning now. He goes, "But she's not responding." I mean, it was just like she wasn't moving. She was sleeping too soundly. There was so much chaos. He goes, "I think I'm gonna call a medic." So he did. He went out and got the medic. Medic comes in and quickly assesses that the father did have smoke inhalation, and then also the 4-year-old boy. And at that point, he requested extra help, wanted an extra medic on scene, and he asked Matthew, because I need to get oxygen. Matthew, who's a trained EMT, he's like, "I can help you with that." So he was able to go out to get the oxygen, and he came back quickly with it. And then by the time he got to the little girl, he rolled her over on the sofa, and it was so heartbreaking because he rolls her over, and we're just thinking she's sleeping. She's so cute, tucked up in her pink blankie. He rolls her over, and the whole side of her face and her feet were blistered. She had been burnt in the fire. And apparently it was the twin girls, 7-month-old girls who were brought out first, then the 4-year-old boy. Then he had to go back in the home, the father did, and go upstairs to pull the little girl out. And I guess the house was fully engaged in the fire. It was just everywhere at that point. So anyways, he rolls the girl over, the EMT rolls her over, and we see the burn, and then face, and you just. So anyway, at that point, everything changed. The EMT called that, this has become a code 3, and it moved quick. And next thing you know, we had ambulances on the scene, and they were loading the family up and taking them to UC Davis Med Center. And at that point, Matthew was like, "Okay, let's go on over there. Let's make sure they have our information, find out what we can." And, you know, obviously tonight, they're here at the hospital. But, we all met down at UC Davis Medical Center, and we all walked in together in the emergency room. And it was kind of crazy in there. And we get help, and finally a woman comes out from social services, and she goes, "Are you with the Red Cross?" And we're like, "Yes." And she goes, "Well, let's go to another room. I'd like to talk to you." And so she pulls us aside to the chapel, and she goes, "The father was intubated on the way over. He's in ICU right now. The 4-year-old boy is being treated. We have the twins under observation. They're fine." The mother did arrive on scene. She goes, "But that little girl," she goes, "you didn't have an extra minute to spare." She goes, "By the time she was being wheeled through, her throat was burned. And by the time she was being wheeled through, it had closed up, and they couldn't get her intubated." And then, I mean, they were having a hard trial. Then they had like the smallest one. They were having such difficulty because, I mean, she was just these burns. And I guess at that point, by the time she was being wheeled through, she was completely, they were losing her. So that was our third miracle, was the fact that Matthew he was so in the moment. He didn't try to hurry the paperwork and get us moving on. He just sat there and he observed, and he knew. I mean, anybody else could have made the mistake and waited 15 more minutes, but it was that 1 minute. He made that decision, and that 1 minute was everything, and she's alive. And this is why I nominated him, obviously, because he is a hero.
The entire family, the father and his children, were sleeping at the time. Their mother was away at work. And when the fire, the father woke up to the fire and had to get all 4 of his children out of the burning building. I got our team together. We followed the fire department to the hospital, anticipating that we would be able to provide the care that we had intended to provide on the scene at the hospital. I noticed that one of our client's children was apparently sleeping on a couch. As I paid closer attention to this young girl, her father noticed me paying attention to her. He reached over and he gave her a gentle shake, and she did not respond to her father. So I went and found the chief, and he called in one of his medics. He gave a rapid assessment to the child, and his assessment made it really clear that she had injuries that were growing rapidly. Both the father and his one daughter had received injuries that were serious enough that they might not have made it if our team had not managed to be at the right place at the right time. There's one really clear hero in this story, and that is these children's father. He took risks that took him right to the edge of his life. It's clear that he risked his life to save his family. I give credit to the exemplary EMT training that I received here on campus, presented by Stuart Beach, a firefighter paramedic out of San Francisco. I don't see myself as being a hero so much as having been a well-trained EMT, and I credit my teachers for that.